Ahoy, swabs! Captain Jeff the Pirate here, at your service. Welcome to another episode of Captain Jeff Reviews and Questions Adventure Time. Today's episode, The Visitor. Now, the episode opens with everyone at Finn and Jake's asleep. But then suddenly, the comet that has been the discussion point for a couple of episodes crash lands nearby. Finn wakes up inside of a dream because he's fully dressed and he's be under the sea. And he be following the comet at the instruction of the little baby self that he be carrying. So he walks and follows the comet to its crash site and then wakes up to the real world, where he be fully dressed, but and has all his gear, but he ain't looking too good. So he asks what happened, and a nearby buzzard says that he has been sleepwalking for 2 days. So he comes to the crash site of the comet, where it be the spaceship we've seen from before, and it looks like this very small town, and it looks like a farmland of some sorts. Only all the crops be limp and shriveling up and dying from improper care. So as Finn approaches the village, he encounters one of its citizens, and they look like tiny snowmen people, like maybe yay big or somewhere along the lines. Alright, so after he rehydrates himself, so he be trying to figure out what's going on when suddenly a giant tree starts talking, "People, the tree spirit commands ye to be doing this." And he recognizes it as Martin. So he climbs up the tree, and lo and behold, it be Martin, and the man who be Finn's father. So he be looking at him, and they be having a conversation, and Finn notices Martin has a jacket on with the right sleeve knotted up as if he lost his arm. So he'd be saying how he was going to want to be taking Martin's arm, but now he's got to know about it. And Martin says that'd be a good thing, because he shows he has his arm still. So Finn, of course, be very upset. He'd be like, "Oh great, you be lying to me about your arm being gone. So what are you doing here?" Martin says that he's been gathering the parts from his ship and getting help from the little guys to build an escape pod so that he could leave. So he wants to so Finn wants to stick around with him for a little bit to figure out what's going on. And Martin he be tricking the people into thinking about the tree spirit, and he has them doing his dirty work, and they be getting dirty, literally, and injured, and he not be caring. But the little people, the little snow people, they want to be doing it because they like to help. So they be getting the last piece from Martin. So after that, Martin has them have a celebration with many bonfires and having them eat through all their food stock supplies and drinking all their water. Martin just be causing a general ruckus. And Finn, he just be trying to be nice to the people and just talk to them and show them some fun stuff. So then Martin sits down with Finn, and Finn has to ask some important questions like, what about his mum, or why did Martin leave? So Martin, he kind of breezes over the question, and he gives an explanation that he had to go make a difficult life change and decision before he left. So I'll get into that near the end of the episode. I'll go over in detail what he said. So anyway, the next morning, Finn be waking up, and the ship has been slowly building up in temperature from the car building up in heat and pressure. And Martin be trying to leave, once again trying to sneak away, and Finn be like, "What's going on?" So Martin explains how the ship is about to explode because of the car, but he's too big to get in there to turn it off. So he said he could have either the little people do it or have Finn do it. He said, "Come on, how about after this I take you with me to space?" Now by this point, with Martin's vague discussions and the way his mannerisms is and everything else that Finn has been through with him, even from the beginning, from the Citadel incident, Finn has had enough with Martin, so Finn turns on the ignition switch and sends Martin blasting off back into space. So, good riddance to you bum. So then Finn goes into the space shuttle and turns off the power core to prevent it from heating and over exploding and heating blocker. Unfortunately, the farm has pretty much been destroyed because of Martin's interaction, so I guess the Catalyst Comet does act as a harbinger of a new change or whatever, has been predicted. So Finn, he be carrying the entire town on his shoulders and says, "When we get back to the tree house, let me do the talking." and thus the episode ends. Now, I give this episode a thumb and a half up. Now, here's why. It'd be interesting to me. So, now, when Finn was trying to get back together with the Flame Princess, that was just like, this is sad and painful to watch. But now, with the Pajama War, we saw that Finn and Princess Bubblegum, they were interacting, but Finn wasn't trying to get into a relationship. It was just regular interaction, and I liked that. It shows Finn's character has developed and matured a little bit in the time of the series. And with this one, he was angry with his father, but he learned to repress that urge to want to take his arm. And he figured out his father was a blatant liar and a just general bad person. So he was able to send him out without so much as a second thoughts. He wasn't trying to be like, oh, Daddy, I want you to take me back into your life. I want to be a family again, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I like how Finn has actually developed over the course of this series, and I like how he's not being so much of a wimp or a pushover. He's still a good person, but he knows when someone needs a helping hand or a kick in the seat. Now, Martin, he's not exactly... I wouldn't exactly call him the best source of credible material or information. But thanks to visual aids and some previous episodes, here's what we do know. From the story Martin told us, him and Finn were at sea. So here's what. We see a very young baby Finn, but we also see like a second toddler with him. And during the story, we don't see Martin himself, but we see a giant arm as it beats off like a jellyfish and sharks, and there be a tiger involved. I think that was like a joke at the Life of Pi. And there be seaweed. So much seaweed during the storm. Anyway, then at some point, it looks like a giant robot comes, and that's how the story ends, of how he had to go and make a tough life-changing decision. But, so, I'm trying to figure out, when this robot came, how much time passed between the ocean and when Finn was dropped off in the forest? Or if there wasn't ever an ocean because, this is Martin. But, so while Martin did tell about the ocean, he never said anything about Finn having a second sibling. Now, from the Farm World episode of Finn the Human, during the whole Lich Wish episode saga, 2-part special, and also from Susan Strong, we know that Susan doesn't. We know that Finn does in fact have a sister. Now Susan, she may be Finn's sister. We don't know yet because we first didn't know if she was even human or not. Now we have reason to believe that she might be. So this just be my theory. I have no solid concrete evidence. I just be spitballing ideas here. Alright, so we know Finn is... So, of the humans we have seen on the planet Abu, we know Finn is 100% definite. Martin, I'm pretty sure, is human. Let's see. Susan, that's kind of an ambiguous gray area. We know of Betty, and we know Simon when he's not being possessed by the crown. So we got very limited resources to be working with here, but I think this is good. I mean, so we now know that there is a sibling, and it could be Susan Strong, or there could be another human out there. Whether it be male or female, we don't know, based on... Well, the Farm World thing, that was an alternate timeline, so alternate universe and dimension, getting way too complex there. But anyway, yeah, so there could be another human running around. We still don't know anything about Jake's mum, and we know that Martin is a jerk. Will we figure out more in future episodes? Or will it be in this season or the next season? I do not know. But I look forward to watching it. So those be me theories. And like I said, I give the show a thumb and a half up because it was good in many ways. Both with Finn's personal character development and with the interaction with Martin. So until next time, this be Captain Jeff reviewing and question adventure time. Saying thank you for watching, and as always, arr! Have a nice day.